Avengers, X-Men and other Marvel mainstays against a near unstoppable force hell-bent on domination? What's new? Well, in Marvel's Midnight Suns, a whole lot. From an in-depth, deeply tactical combat system to a few firsts to the world of Marvel games, here's how Midnight Suns breaks the mold of caped crusading with new gameplay captured on PC.
One of those firsts that Henry just mentioned is in fact that this is the very first Marvel game in which you can make your very own fully fledged hero. Known as the Hunter, your character gets resurrected by the likes of Doctor Strange and co to help in the fight against Lilith, who is quite literally your mother. Not a playground joke, by the way, she actually is. Since the Hunter is your character, you can make them look however you like using a variety of customization sliders for hairstyle, eye color, and skin tone. So you can finally make yourself in the Marvel universe, or you can do what we did and make a Hunter that looks like all of the band Queen at the same time. You can later customize what your character wears both on and off the battlefield using in-game collectibles known as gloss. And you can even go back to the drawing board and completely alter their appearance. Or maybe just get rid of the mustache you picked. To fund your Hunter even more, at the end of story missions, you can create your very own Marvel Comics cover featuring your character, if you choose to. And there's a photo mode you can access at any time on the battlefield. There are other ways in which you can customize your character too, including over 40 different abilities, but before we get into any of that, let's talk Midnight Suns' very unique combat system.
Inspired by the darker Midnight Suns comics run of the 90s, Marvel's Midnight Suns was developed by Firaxis Games, the brain boxes behind the likes of XCOM and the Civilization series. So it's no surprise that Midnight Suns isn't a rush in and beat 'em up sort of fest. It's a turn-based strategy game where you have to consider every move carefully. The moves of your heroes are presented to you in the form of cards, which may initially be surprising for some. The game's creative director, Jake Solomon, noted that there has to be a sense of randomness to strategy games to enable the player to constantly consider their tactics. But unlike the characters in other titles, these guys are superheroes. They don't miss and they hit hard. The randomness and spontaneity comes from what cards you're served from the deck, as you never know what is going to come next. It's a bit of a complex system, sure, but easy enough to learn. In fact, let us show you.
There are 3 kinds of cards: attack, skill, and heroic. Attack cards are, well, pretty obvious, and some of them have additional abilities on them, like an area of effect or the ability to knock back an enemy into another goon or another environmental hazard, like this surprisingly dangerous electricity box on a New York street. Skill cards are able to provide buffs and boosts like healing and generally provide you with some moves to help even the odds, like giving you the opportunity to draw more cards. You might be wondering what the numbers in orange on the cards mean, and that represents heroism, which is what you need to build up to play the beefed up heroic cards. Attack and skill cards can both build heroism, leading to these grander attacks. Captain Marvel's Photon Beam is one such attack, and can be deployed to devastating effect. We wouldn't want to be those guys. There's only a certain amount of cards you can play per turn, as you can see here, but the good thing about heroic attacks is that they don't count towards your card play amount. You can also use certain things on the battlefield for environmental attacks using heroism too. Again, not using any card draws as you smash this convenient cargo net right down on some Hydra idiot. That means that while the countdown may say you only have 2 or 3 card plays, play your cards right, no pun intended, and you could well play more and do more damage. Cards have keywords attached that won't be too alien to those who have played card-based games before. Taunt, for example, which makes your enemy focus solely on the hero that attacked. We won't go into all that for now, but the range of different cards available and the things they can do show that no battle in Midnight Suns is ever the same. And you have to think before you leap, or punch, or throw an axe.
There is a multitude of things you can do outside of the battlefield to ensure that the odds, or indeed cards, aren't stacked against you. One of those things involves fulfilling a childhood dream: making friends with Marvel superheroes. After all, you're going into battle with these people who all have their own buffs and strategies attached, so you'll need to make the most of them. You can do this by earning friendship XP with them, which in turn can provide passive buffs and combo abilities. You get this delicious XP by going on missions with them, but also through communicating with them off mission. But be mindful what you say. For instance, if you listen to Tony Stark's harrowing life story and bond with him over his childhood, you'll earn some friendship XP in the form of a love heart on screen. Be careful what you say though, as this can go the other way too. When we disrespected his precious Sanctum Sanctorum, Doctor Strange was, understandably, quite upset, so we lost friendship XP with him before we'd even got any. Talk about getting off on the wrong foot. While we're on the subject, some dialogue options also include these symbols next to them, which can change the light balance of your hunter either towards the light or the dark. Not only does this give your hunter a bit more of a pure good or roguish flavour, but these can translate to cards later on, with lighter cards giving you more support buffs, or darker balanced hunters getting very powerful cards at a cost to the squad. Basically, what you say matters, and that's even more true when you're socialising with a bunch of super people. Plus, with some animated prequel shorts making their way online in the build-up to release, what better way to research your squad mates?
By far, the best way you can boost your friendships is with hangouts around the hub location known as the Abbey. And yes, it's even better than the superhero social network named Superlink that Tony Stark has created. Hangouts are a fun way to get under the skin of your favourite characters, while also getting a massive chunk of friendship XP. You can take various characters to different areas you have to find around the Abbey known as havens, where you can do a special activity with them. For example, we took Nico Minoru of The Runaways to watch a movie with us, and Captain Marvel herself for a spotted painting. You'll get 5 XP from this, plus any bonus if they enjoyed the conversation. Carol Danvers likes talking about space dates, it turns out. Not only is this a fun way to interact with your favourite Marvelous characters, but it also gives you even more control over the best people to bond with and have as your mainstays in your team. Be careful though, each haven can only be used once and every character can only be taken to one haven over the campaign, so pick wisely. It goes without saying too that different characters have different playstyles and inbuilt abilities too, some of whom may complement your playstyle. Iron Man, for instance, is a great all-rounder but can consume redraws to make his attacks happen. Blade specializes in bleed attacks, surprise surprise, and these are more effective at draining HP over time rather than all in one blow. Picking which character suits you the best and then hanging out with them the most seems to be the best way to build the ultimate Midnight Suns squad.
There are hundreds of abilities for your hunter and squad characters to use, and one way to unlock them is to take certain items to an area in the Abbey named the Forge. After some battles, you'll pick up gamma coils, which Tony Stark can use to give you new ability cards. You can pick one out of the 3 available, and if it's a double, you can then upgrade that ability in the yard with Blade, so it's more powerful and effective than it was before. As well as the aforementioned havens, the Abbey and its grounds also have plenty of mysteries to uncover, whether they're masterwork paintings to decorate the Abbey with, artifacts to improve your arcane knowledge, Marvel-themed tarot cards, even special challenge arenas themed around the Elder Gods shown to you by one Agatha Harkness. There's plenty in the surrounding areas to keep you busy if you're not darting around the world in a desperate bid to save reality. Though, really, maybe you should focus on that? Nah.
So, those are the basics on Marvel's Midnight Suns, a dark adventure unlike any other. Who are you going to be chatting to for your ultimate squad goals? Let us know down in the comments below, and for all things Xbox, make sure you subscribe and ring the bell. Bye!